ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. What's up, everyone? To mark the special and monumental occasion that is a Wes Anderson release, I am going to attempt to rank every single... Okay, maybe not every single. I think I missed a couple. I don't think Hotel Chevalier is in here. I don't think the Netflix stuff is in here. But whatever's on the screen, I will attempt to rank Wes Anderson's work. And I should preface this by saying, some of you might disagree, or maybe a lot of you, I don't know. Everyone has their own special relationship with Wes Anderson films. And it's not gonna... You're gonna be upset. Okay, I'm just going to say this right now. Sooner or later, I'm going to hit a patch in this video that you don't agree with, and you're going to be upset. So this ranking is not meant to reflect... I'm not the voice for the whole world here. I'm the voice for myself, okay? This is just one man's opinion, one ethnic man's opinion about the work of a filmmaker that he has grown up watching. Now, I should also say this. Take this information how you will. There are two types of Wes Anderson fans, okay? The people that have been there from the beginning of his work and just kind of grew up with it. Or you have the TikTok crowd, which they came, I would say... I don't date this with when TikTok was created. That's like a loose term. I am dating this as like the Gen Z crowd. They didn't grow up with his work. So there's kind of a cultural divide among Wes Anderson fans. But anyway, I'm just going to get into the ranking. And I'll get to those points later. So right off the bat, for me, Royal Tenenbaums is his greatest film. I don't think he's ever topped it. Maybe with cinematography, maybe with costume design in certain areas. But for me personally, this is Royal Tenenbaums is the film that is the perfect marriage of like everything. Performances, boom. Writing, personal, everything. Came straight from the heart and the soul, boom. Everything. Writing, performances, cinematography, everything. It's the perfect movie. I could watch this 90 million times, and I have. So to me, that's the perfect. That goes into the perfect category. Sorry if I'm making weird mouth saliva noises. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to post it how it is. So... this one for me, Darjeeling Limited, I would say it's either this or A, but I tend to lean towards perfect just because, to me, it's the perfect movie. I could watch it 90 million times, and again, I have. And to me, the earlier works there, I count that as like the category of earlier works. I know Rush Hour. Can you imagine if Wes Anderson made Rush Hour? Rushmore, sorry. I know that's an early work, and Bottle Rocket. I wouldn't count that as high as these two. Is just because, for me personally, Darjeeling and Royal Tenenbaums, he had perfected where he was at with these guys. I would say that's where it goes. These two. And maybe even here for Bottle Rocket, but to me, it was like he was on an upward spiral. Bottle Rocket was great. And then Rushmore was even better. And then he just hit like a thing here, you know? Yeah, he nailed it. Now, Moonrise Kingdom, I would say is like A for me. By the way, this is all over the map. It's going to be very out of order, but I'm just going to do it how I feel as it comes to me, okay? Moonrise Kingdom is A just because that's like the cutoff point, I think. The cutoff point in his work, like the what's the phrase here? Demarcation line? I'm just making things up. The cultural divide happens in his work around 2012 or 2014. The Grand Budapest Hotel, and this is where his work kind of sort of peaks, in my opinion. Life Aquatic, I'd probably say somewhere A or B, maybe B. That was like culture. It was like critically panned, but some people have come around on that. But anyway, I would say Life Aquatic is there. Now, I should get this out of the way. By the way, sorry. I should get everything out of the way that is going to piss people off. I'm just going to do it like a bandage. I'm not an animation guy, so Fantastic Mr. Fox and Dogs, I'm just putting that D. Now, I'm not saying they're bad movies. I'm just saying, for me, I don't like animation. I'm an adult, okay? I just don't like it. I could watch those movies once and I get it. Like, I'm good. So, animation is D. Let's just recap here, because I've kind of gone through this pretty quickly. Bottle Rocket, C. But again, when I put these as a lower grade, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying you have to look at who is making this stuff. It's Wes. So his C is like somebody else's A, you know? So Bottle Rocket, it was good at the time, and then he just was on an upward spiral. Rushmore. And then he hit a peak with this area here. Depending on who you ask. But because it's my video, I will say that the peak of his work happened at Budapest Hotel. And now I'm going to upset some of you even further. All right? Asteroid City. I'm going to put that as a hard B. I'm trying to put it... Okay, there we go. It's a hard B, like a B+. Better than Rushmore, I guess. I don't know. That's painful for me to say words like better or worse. But it's in this area, okay? It's in the Life Aquatic, Rushmore, Asteroid City, B tier. French Dispatch, I'm going to say it's either hard B or A- for me. And I'm going to get into it. All right. Phoenician Scheme, without a doubt, I will say it's the same B area. Now, I'm going to talk about why this is the case. You might be asking, hey, Larry, how can it be that you just rated his most recent films that low? Like, why is it in the B tier and not... How could you say that Royal Tenenbaums is is perfect, and Budapest Hotel is just like, over a decade at this point? Why is that better than the new ones? Is it because you're a dumbass? Is it because you're stupid and these movies is going to take you time to figure it out and blah, blah, blah? No, I wouldn't say that at all. In fact, I have to reiterate, I'm not saying that these movies are bad or, there's nothing wrong with those. There's nothing wrong with you if you put French Dispatch, Asteroid City, Phoenician Scheme in the perfect tier. I'm not going to judge you. But for me personally, what I would say is these later films, French Dispatch, Asteroid, Phoenician, it feels to me that some of his work is just like lacking. I don't know how to describe it. It's lacking emotion or heart or a genuine desire to tell some kind of story. Like, I don't know. It feels like he doesn't have a burning desire to tell the stories that he's telling, but he just wanted to make a movie with cool stuff happening, which is fine, but in my opinion, it's lacking the heart of stuff that Tenenbaums and Darjeeling had, and even Budapest to a certain extent. French Dispatch, Asteroid City, and Phoenician Scheme. They're all they're great. They're great movies, but I wouldn't put them as like, like the Beatles. They have 90 million singles, and then they have like songs that you have probably never even heard of. You could make it to the age of like 90, and you're still going to be discovering Beatles songs you've never heard of. Though that's because those weren't the singles. Those weren't like Love Me Do, whatever. They're just like album songs, If you're a fan, you're going to listen to those songs. But everyone is going to know about Tenenbaums and Darjeeling. That's kind of how I feel about French Dispatch, Asteroid, and Phoenician, is that they're good, but it's like, if you're a fan, they're good. I'm not going to show someone who's just getting into Wes French Dispatch. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's the best that he is capable of. And the other thing I wanted to say is I feel like I have written an essay about this, so I'm going to try to repeat what I said there. His recent work kind of falls into this thing for me that I have titled The Wes Anderson Actor Problem, where the way I would describe it is like, in his recent films, because now he's an established director and everyone is familiar with his work, his performers are not giving a performance that feels authentic or genuine to who these characters are. And what I mean by this is like, in Darjeeling Limited or Royal Tenenbaums, you have characters speaking fast, quick sentences like a Wes Anderson character will do. But in a recent Wes Anderson film, it feels like there is less reason, or not reason, but it feels like it's not so much that the characters actually talk like that, but it's more like in their head they're just like, okay, he wants me to do this Wes Anderson performance, so let me just say it the way I think he wants me to say it. Whereas like the earlier films, I actually believed that those characters talked like that, and the world that he built, the characters would talk like that. Now it's like, I don't know if you want to use the word caricature, or I don't want to be that harsh, but to me, that's what it feels like. It's like the actors are not giving a performance like, this is who this person is. That's why I have to say it like this. Instead, it's more like, oh, okay, I've seen a Wes Anderson movie before. This is how I'm supposed to say it. And then they do that thing where it's like, someone itemizing things, like a list, and they're just going to say it like, okay, we are going camping. We need 1 journal. We need 2 bottles of water. We need first aid kit. We need this. We need that. It just feels hollow when you see it now. Maybe, as I said in the beginning of the video, I think I mentioned this, but I think this might be a sign of me growing older with his work. You might not notice this as much if you're like from the TikTok crowd. And I'm not saying this to be cynical or mean in any way. I'm just saying there is a cultural divide with his work. And I think, I don't know, I read this somewhere. I think Gen Z, younger generations probably like his newer stuff more than the older stuff. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Maybe I'm just getting old and the Wes Anderson parlor tricks have gotten old for me, but maybe that's just it. But I don't know. Either way, that's how I feel, is that he peaked around this area. The Budapest, Moonrise Kingdom, I believe that was the cutoff for when it was the perfect marriage of great writing, the characters and the actors feel real, and they have heart and soul. That was like the cutoff. Now I watch a movie like French Dispatch, Asteroid City, and Phoenician Scheme. I don't feel heart for those characters. Like, I don't feel for those characters. To me, it's just like they're hollow, two-dimensional. They don't leap off the screen. I don't know how to put this in a way that doesn't sound mean, but that's just how I feel. And I know some people might say, like, well, that's just the Wes Anderson style. Like, you're not, they're not supposed to be, you're not supposed to have, I don't know. I don't think it's that, though. I just think there is something missing. Look at a character like Richie Tenenbaum, or even Owen Wilson in this movie. What's his name? Chaz? Forget. Some people might get upset that I forgot his name, but those characters, I don't know, I felt for them. Jason Schwartzman in Asteroid City, it's a good movie. I don't mean to say that it's bad at all. All I'm saying is the divide, it's very much real. And I know I'm not crazy because I've seen people that have written about his work. Some of them agree with me, Even if you look at Life Aquatic, where the characters, they are trying to have this distance about them, there's still a heart to those characters. I didn't get any heart from Phoenician Scheme or Asteroids. Okay, that's putting it too harshly. I got some heart, but there's something missing. There's some zhuzh. There's some feeling. There's soul missing, And again, I will repeat myself here. All Wes Anderson movies, like all the characters to a certain extent, have been distant, and you could use the word cold to a certain extent, but I don't know. It just seems like it's getting worse. Now, this might upset a lot of you, but as I've mentioned, it's not. I'm not intending to. This is not the definitive ranking by any means. And also, I should state this: Hotel Chevalier and Darjeeling, I count as one movie, so that to me is perfect as well. And the Netflix stuff, I would place the Netflix stuff firmly in the A area or the B, like here, like there. Follow the cursor. That area. That is a great example of what he's capable of as a director. And there's one more thing I wanted to say, but I just remembered what I wanted to say. Personally, and this is all personal to me, but I would really like to see a Wes Anderson film that is from this approach to people. And by that I mean a modern day Wes Anderson film. They don't have to have iPhones, and I'm not saying they have to be. I don't want to see them scrolling on their phones, okay? I don't care about that. But it would be really nice to have a modern day Wes Anderson film. Instead of like this obsession he has with certain bygone eras and like, the 1800s or whatever the hell. I'm not saying that's bad, but it would be really nice to see that from him again. Because it seemed like Darjeeling Limited, when that movie came out, it was just so cool to see that. I'm trying to explain this in a way that the TikTok generation of Wes Anderson fans will appreciate. But to me, the reason why movies like that were exciting, does that make sense? Or should I say movies like those were exciting? Why Darjeeling and Tenenbaums were so exciting at the time is you saw your contemporaries in a movie with this like great, beautiful like artifice where it's like symmetry, all the flourishes that you're familiar with. But to take the Wes Anderson craft, genius, stunning craft, and apply it to a bygone era, because you were never a contemporary of like Benicio del Toro and Phoenician Scheme. There's something missing. Maybe that's the hollowness that I'm talking about. But it would be so clutch to see a Wes Anderson movie set in the present day. Can you imagine? Like, I don't want Eddington from Ari Aster. I want to see, like, what does a Wes Anderson movie that takes place in 2020 look like? Like, at the height of the pandemic. That would be so clutch, dude. Anyway, that's all I had to say. So, yeah, that's the ranking. If you disagree, I don't know what to tell you. I gave my warning several times. This is personal to me. And,